Santa's Alien Helper by Jansen Davies. Chapter 1. Collision Course. The stars above the Arctic shimmered like frost-bitten diamonds scattered across a velvet sky. It was Christmas Eve, and the world below slept in anticipation. Chimneys stood ready, stockings hung in silence, and high above, slicing through the stratosphere with sleigh bells trailing like comet dust, Santa Claus was making excellent time. His sleigh, a polished relic of ancient magic and modern upgrades, glided on aurora currents. 8 reindeer galloped in formation, their hooves sparking against invisible winds. Santa adjusted his goggles, checked the delivery matrix on his wrist console, and smiled. 1 billion gifts, 47 minutes ahead of schedule, he muttered. Not bad for a guy with a belly full of cookies. But then, a glitch, a ripple in the sky, a shimmer of violet light, and from the edge of the ionosphere, a spacecraft emerged, sleek and silver, shaped like a teardrop caught mid-fall. It was not of Earth, it was not of Christmas, it was Milpollo's. Milpollo, a junior xenographer from the planet Thenilia, had come to observe Earth's Yuletide anomaly, a cultural phenomenon his species found baffling. He'd calibrated his ship to hover discreetly above the North Pole, but a miscalculation in Earth's rotational velocity sent him spiraling off course. The collision was instant. Santa's sleigh clipped the ship's hull. Reindeer scattered like startled birds. The sleigh spun, trailing sparks and gift-wrapped chaos. Santa shouted, gripping the reins as the sleigh plummeted toward the Pacific. Inside the alien vessel, Milpollo panicked. "Oh no, oh no, oh no," he chanted, eyes blinking. "I hit a terrestrial myth being. I hit the anomaly." He activated the stabilizers and dove after the sleigh, catching it mid-fall with a tractor beam. The sleigh hovered, smoking and cracked, its rear runner bent like a candy cane left too long in cocoa. Santa climbed out, brushing soot from his coat. His beard was singed, his hat was missing, his glare could melt glaciers. "You," he growled, pointing at Milpollo's ship, "you just ruined Christmas." Milpollo's holographic form flickered into view, translucent and trembling. I didn't mean to. I was observing. I didn't know you were real." Santa crossed his arms. "Well, I am. And now, thanks to you, my sleigh's wrecked, my reindeer are missing, and half the gifts are floating somewhere over Guam." Milpollo's voice quivered. "I can help. My ship has temporal folding, quantum teleportation, a replicator. I can fix this." Santa raised an eyebrow. "You're an alien. What do you know about Christmas?" Milpollo paused. "Nothing, but I want to learn." Santa stared at him for a long moment. Then he sighed, tugged his gloves tighter, and climbed back into the sleigh. "Fine," he said. "Let's deliver joy together." And with that, the sleigh was pulled into the alien ship's cargo bay, the stars above blinking in quiet astonishment. Christmas had just gone interstellar. Chapter 2. The Pact. The alien ship hovered like a silver halo above the Pacific, its hull pulsing with bioluminescent light. Inside, Milpollo paced in spirals, his translucent limbs flickering with stress. He had studied Earth's customs, its rituals, its strange obsession with seasonal generosity. But he had never expected to meet the old man himself. Santa Claus sat in the ship's medbay, his coat singed, his sleigh cracked, his reindeer scattered across hemispheres. He sipped a mug of synthesized cocoa, too sweet, too metallic, and stared at the holographic display of Earth's time zones ticking away. 79 million households left, he muttered, and no sleigh, no reindeer, no backup. Milpollo approached, shoulders drooping. "I've scanned the damage. Your sleigh's propulsion matrix is fractured. The reindeer's flight harmonics are scattered across the biosphere. I'm sorry. Santa didn't respond. He simply tapped the side of the mug, watching the seconds bleed away. I can help, Milpolo said. My ship is equipped with temporal folding. We can bend time, skip across coordinates. I can teleport you to every delivery site in milliseconds. Santa raised an eyebrow. And the gifts? Milpolo gestured toward a chamber behind him. We have a replicator. It can recreate any object from memory or molecular scan. If you describe it, I can build it. Santa leaned forward. You're telling me you can time travel, teleport, and manufacture toys? Milpolo nodded. I've never celebrated Christmas, but I've studied it. I know the patterns, the songs, the stories. I just never understood the feeling. Santa stood, his silhouette framed by the ship's glowing console. Christmas isn't about patterns. It's about presence, believing, wonder, giving without expectation. Milpolo's voice softened. Then let me give. Santa stared at him for a long moment. Then he reached into his coat and pulled out a small, cracked ornament, a glass globe with a sleigh etched inside. He placed it on the console. If we do this, he said, we do it right. No shortcuts, no cheats. Every child gets their gift. Every chimney, every rooftop, every heart. Milpolo extended a hand, bony fingers glowing faintly. I promise. Santa shook it. Then let's deliver joy to the world. The ship's engines hummed to life, coordinates locked, time folded, and Christmas, for the first time in galactic history, became a two-species operation. Chapter 3. The Replicator Room. The ship's interior shimmered with alien elegance, walls of liquid crystal, corridors that curved like the inside of a seashell. Santa followed Milpolo through a glowing archway into a chamber unlike any he'd seen in his centuries of sleigh-bound travel. This, Milpolo said, is the Replicator Room. The space pulsed with quiet power. Holographic blueprints floated midair, schematics of toys, gadgets, and objects both familiar and strange. A console hovered at the center, surrounded by a ring of translucent panels that flickered with molecular data. Santa stepped forward, eyes narrowing. You can recreate anything? Milpolo nodded. If you describe it, I can build it. From memory, emotion, or even cultural resonance. Santa reached into his coat and pulled out a crumpled list, handwritten in crayon, glitter smudged across the edges. These are the most requested gifts. Some are rare, some are impossible, but they matter. Milpolo scanned the list. A unicorn drone, a self-baking cookie oven, a plush narwhal that sings lullabies in 3 languages. These are ambitious. Santa smiled. They're children's dreams. And dreams deserve delivery. Milpolo placed his hand on the console. The room hummed. Light coalesced into form. The unicorn drone appeared first, sleek, iridescent, wings fluttering with micro-thrusters. Then the cookie oven, shaped like a gingerbread house, its interior glowing with programmable warmth. Finally, the narwhal, soft, shimmering, and humming a lullaby in Tagalog, French, and Swahili. Santa picked up the narwhal, holding it to his ear. Perfect. Milpolo watched, fascinated. Why do these objects matter so much? Santa turned to him. Because they're more than toys. They're promises, to be seen, to be loved, to be remembered. Milpolo's glow dimmed slightly. I've never received a gift. Santa paused. Then we'll make sure you do. The replicator continued its work, building joy from memory and magic. And somewhere in the ship's databanks, a new entry was added. Christmas. Active Protocol. Chapter 4. First stop, Tokyo. The alien ship shimmered into Tokyo's skyline like a misplaced star, hovering just above the rooftops of Shibuya. Neon signs blinked below. Snowflakes, rare and artificial, drifted from the ship's cooling vents. Santa adjusted his belt, checked the delivery matrix, and nodded. First stop, twins on the 17th floor. One wants a unicorn drone. The other wants a karaoke machine shaped like a sushi roll. Milpolo blinked. That's oddly specific. Welcome to Christmas, Santa said, stepping onto the teleport pad. With a flash of light, they materialized on the rooftop. Santa moved with practiced stealth, sliding down the chimney with a sack full of replicated joy. Milpolo hovered above, scanning for anomalies with his quantum visor. Inside the apartment, Santa tiptoed across tatami mats, placing gifts beneath a minimalist tree. But Milpolo, curious and unaccustomed to Earth's architecture, floated through the wall, triggering the family's security drone. Alarms blared. A robotic cat hissed. The drone locked onto Milpolo's heat signature and fired a stream of confetti and holographic warnings. Santa dove behind the couch. I told you to stay outside. I was verifying cultural artifacts, Milpolo shouted, dodging a flying origami crane. The twins woke up, eyes wide. Santa-san? Santa grabbed Milpolo and activated the emergency teleport. They vanished in a burst of glitter, leaving behind two stunned children, a pile of gifts, and a very confused robotic cat. Back on the ship, Santa collapsed into the pilot's chair. You need to learn about boundaries. Milpolo nodded, singed and sheepish. I thought curiosity was a virtue. It is, Santa said, but so is stealth. They recalibrated the delivery matrix. Next stop, Paris, and somewhere in Tokyo, two children sang karaoke to a unicorn drone that danced in midair. Chapter 5. The Time Loop in Paris. The Eiffel Tower shimmered in the distance, its lights twinkling like a cosmic beacon. Milpolo's ship hovered discreetly above the rooftops of Montmartre, cloaked in a refractive veil that bent moonlight around its hull. Inside, Santa reviewed the next delivery coordinates. 3 children, Rue des Martyrs. One wants a programmable snow globe. One wants a scarf that changes color with mood. And the youngest just wants a hug. Milpolo tilted his head. A hug? That's not a replicable object. Santa smiled. It's the most important kind. They activated the teleport pad. But something went wrong. Instead of arriving at the rooftop, they materialized in the living room, where Santa was already placing gifts beneath the tree. Milpolo blinked. Temporal echo. We've arrived 5 minutes before our previous selves. Santa stared at his duplicate. We're in a time loop. The other Santa glanced up, startled. You again. Milpolo panicked. We must exit before the paradox stabilizes. But before they could teleport out, the youngest child, wide-eyed and pajama-clad, stepped into the room. She saw 2 Santas, one placing gifts, one frozen mid-step. Her eyes sparkled. Papa Noel has a twin? Santa knelt. Only on very special nights. She hugged him, both of him, and whispered, Merci. Milpolo initiated the temporal fold. They vanished in a shimmer of stardust, leaving behind a room filled with wonder, 2 scarves, 1 snow globe, and a memory that would never quite make sense. Back on the ship, Santa chuckled. You really need to calibrate your time folds. Milpolo looked dazed. I didn't know paradoxes could be heartwarming. Santa leaned back. That's Christmas for you. Chapter 6. The Lost Reindeer. The ship's scanners pulsed with urgency. A blinking red glyph hovered above the Amazon basin. One of Santa's reindeer had crash-landed in the rainforest. Comet, Santa whispered, eyes narrowing. She must have veered off during the collision. Milpolo adjusted the ship's trajectory, slicing through cloud banks and tropical mist. I've locked on to her biosignature. She's tangled in a canopy near the Tapajos River. They descended silently, cloaked in refracted moonlight. The rainforest glowed with bioluminescent fungi and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures. Santa stepped out first, boots sinking into moss. Milpolo hovered beside him, scanning the underbrush. They found Comet suspended in a web of vines, her antlers caught in a tangle of glowing orchids. She thrashed weakly, eyes wide with panic. Santa rushed forward. "Easy, girl. I've got you." Milpolo activated his anti-gravity beam. The vines loosened. Comet floated gently to the ground, her hooves touching down like a feather on velvet. Santa knelt beside her, stroking her fur. "You're safe now." Milpolo watched, silent. "She's beautiful." "I didn't know reindeer could fly." "They can," Santa said, "when they're believed in." Comet nuzzled Santa's shoulder, then turned to Milpolo and sniffed his glowing hand. For a moment, the alien and the reindeer stared at each other, two beings from opposite ends of the cosmos, sharing a moment of quiet recognition. Milpolo blinked. "She trusts me." Santa smiled. "You saved her. That's the first step." They guided Comet into the ship's stasis bay, where a field of simulated tundra awaited. She galloped once, then curled into a nest of snowflakes and dreams. As the ship ascended, Santa looked out over the rainforest. "One down, 7 to go." Milpolo nodded. "I'll find them all." And somewhere deep in the Amazon, the vines glowed a little brighter, as if the forest itself had witnessed something sacred. Chapter 7. The Gift That Wasn't. The ship hovered above Manhattan, cloaked in refracted starlight. Below, the city pulsed with holiday energy, windows glowing, carolers echoing through alleyways, steam rising from subway grates like urban incense. Santa reviewed the next delivery. 10-year-old, apartment 4B, wants a vintage comic, Galactic Sentinel #1, original print. Milpolo scanned Earth's archives. That issue is locked in a museum vault, protected by laser grids, biometric locks, and a very grumpy curator. Santa sighed. "I've delivered rare things before, but I don't steal. That's not Christmas." Milpolo hesitated. "Then what do we do?" Santa looked out over the city. "We improvise." They landed on the rooftop. Santa descended the fire escape while Milpolo hovered above, watching the snow fall in fractal spirals. Inside the apartment, the boy's room was lined with sketches, his own heroes, drawn in pencil and hope. A cape hung from the bedpost. A cardboard helmet rested on the pillow. Santa placed a small box beneath the tree. Inside was a custom comic, replicated from the boy's own drawings, enhanced with color, bound in shimmering pages. The cover read, "Galactic Sentinel, The Origin of Max." Milpolo had scanned the sketches, interpreted the boy's style, and rendered it with care. The final panel showed Max flying above Earth, cape billowing, eyes glowing with kindness. Santa smiled. "You didn't just replicate. You created." Milpolo blinked. "I wanted him to feel seen." They left quietly, the snow erasing their footprints. Back on the ship, Milpolo stared at the comic's digital copy. "He'll never know it's not the original." Santa shook his head. "He'll know it's better." And somewhere in apartment 4B, a boy woke to find his own story waiting beneath the tree. Chapter 8. The Snowstorm in Nairobi. The ship shimmered into position above Nairobi, its cloaking field flickering as Milpolo recalibrated the atmospheric stabilizers. Below, the city glowed with warm lights and festive music. Children danced in courtyards. Families gathered for midnight meals. The air was dry, warm, expectant. Santa reviewed the next delivery. 3 households. One wants a solar-powered music box. One wants a book of African folk tales with animated pages. And one just wants snow. Milpolo blinked. Snow? In equatorial Kenya? Santa shrugged. She saw it in a movie. Wrote me a letter. Said it looked like magic. Milpolo hesitated. I could simulate a microclimate, just a dusting. Localized. Harmless. Santa raised a brow. You sure? Milpolo nodded. I'll make it ceremonial. He activated the ship's climate node. A pulse of energy rippled through the sky. Clouds formed, soft, silver, and slow. And then, like a whispered promise, snow began to fall. Children screamed with delight. Parents stared in awe. Snowflakes drifted onto rooftops, into open palms, onto mango trees and satellite dishes. It was brief. It was surreal. It was perfect. Santa descended, gifts in hand. He placed the music box on a windowsill, the folktale book beneath a tree woven from recycled wire. And for the girl who asked for snow, he left a small globe. Inside, a miniature Nairobi blanketed in snow, with a tiny figure dancing beneath it. Back on the ship, Milpolo watched the snowfall fade. I didn't mean to cause a storm. Just a moment, Santa smiled. Moments are what Christmas is made of. Milpolo looked down at the city, now quiet beneath the stars. They'll remember this, Santa nodded. And so will you. Chapter 9. The Bureaucratic Elf Council. The ship's return to the North Pole was anything but subtle. As Milpolo descended through the auroral veil, a swarm of sleigh-shaped drones intercepted the vessel, flashing crimson runes and emitting high-pitched jingles that sounded suspiciously like passive-aggressive carols. Santa groaned. They found us. Milpolo blinked. Who? The Elf Council, Santa muttered. They monitor sleigh traffic, gift compliance, and holiday protocol. They're very procedural. The ship was forced to land on a crystalline platform surrounded by peppermint pylons. A tribunal of elves emerged, robes shimmering, clipboards in hand, brows furrowed with centuries of administrative authority. The head elf, a stern figure named Glimrick, stepped forward. You violated Sleigh Protocol 7.3, Clause 12. Unauthorized use of non-terrestrial transport for gift delivery. Santa stepped out, arms raised. We had a collision. My sleigh was damaged. Milpolo offered help. Glimrick narrowed his eyes. Alien assistance is not covered under Clause 12, nor is temporal folding, nor is replicator-based gift substitution. Milpolo floated forward. I apologize. I was unaware of your protocols. I only wish to help. The elves murmured. One checked a scroll, another tapped a candy cane tablet. Glimrick sighed. You've also triggered Clause 18, unauthorized atmospheric manipulation in equatorial zones. Santa crossed his arms. She wanted snow. Another elf whispered. It was beautiful. Glimrick hesitated. Fine. One-time exemption granted. But next year, paperwork. Milpolo bowed. Thank you, tiny overlords. Glimrick scowled. We prefer administrators of cheer. Santa chuckled. Let's go before they audit the cocoa budget. As the ship lifted off, Milpolo turned to Santa. Your planet is ruled by very small beings with very large rules. Santa nodded. And very big hearts. Chapter 10. The Final Delivery. The ship hovered above a quiet village nestled in the mountains of the Philippines, its hull dim to a soft glow, blending with the stars. Below, lanterns flickered in windows. A rooster crowed prematurely. The air was thick with warmth, wood smoke, and anticipation. Santa adjusted his coat. Last stop. Milpolo checked the delivery matrix. One child. No specific request. Just wrote, "Surprise me." Santa smiled. That's the hardest kind. They descended together, materializing on a bamboo rooftop. Santa moved with practiced grace, stepping into the home through an open window. Inside, the child slept soundly, curled beside a hand-carved nativity set. A single stocking hung from a rafter, stitched with stars. Santa placed a small box beneath the tree. Inside, a doll, an exact replica of the little girl herself. They stepped outside, watching the stars shift above the mountains. "We did it," Santa said. "Every gift, every child." Milpolo's glow dimmed with quiet awe. "I've never felt this warmth. It's not just cultural, it's gravitational." Santa chuckled. "That's joy. It pulls you in." Milpolo turned to him. "What happens now?" Santa looked out over the village. "Now we rest. And remember, and next year we do it all again. If you want." Milpolo nodded. "I'd like that." They rose into the sky, the ship trailing a ribbon of light. Below, the child stirred, reaching for the robot as it blinked to life and whispered, "I love you." And somewhere in the stars, an alien who had never known Christmas began to understand what it meant to give. Chapter 11. The Toy Robot. The ship drifted in low orbit, Earth glowing beneath like a snow globe lit from within. Inside the cabin, the mood was quiet. No alarms, no countdowns, no delivery matrices, just the soft hum of starlight and the lingering warmth of a night well spent. Milpolo stood at the observation window, watching the planet rotate slowly beneath him. His glow had softened, no longer flickering with stress or confusion. Something inside him had shifted, something he couldn't quite name. Santa entered, carrying a small box wrapped in shimmering red foil. He placed it gently on the console beside Milpolo. "For you," Santa said. Milpolo blinked. "Me?" Santa nodded. "You've never had a Christmas." "That changes tonight." Milpolo hesitated, then opened the box. Inside was a toy robot, chrome-plated with articulated arms, blinking eyes, and a voice chip embedded in its chest. He lifted it carefully. The robot walked forward, raised its arms, and said, in a voice both mechanical and tender, "I love you." Milpolo froze. His glow pulsed erratically. "It speaks." Santa smiled. "It's programmed to say what every child deserves to hear." Milpolo stared at the robot, then at Santa. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to," Santa said. "Just feel it." Milpolo held the robot close. For the first time in his life, he felt something akin to gravity, but not the kind that pulled ships or bent time. This was emotional gravity, the pull of belonging. "I thought Christmas was about gifts," Milpolo whispered. Santa shook his head. "It's about connection. And sometimes it's about a chrome robot that says, 'I love you.'" They stood in silence, the stars swirling around them. Below, Earth slept peacefully, unaware that somewhere above, an alien had just received his first real gift. And somewhere inside Milpolo's circuitry, a new protocol activated. Celebrate. Remember. Love. Chapter 12. Epilogue. The Ornament. The North Pole was quiet. Snow fell in slow spirals, blanketing the workshop in silence. Inside, the elves were asleep, cocoa mugs half finished, spreadsheets of joy archived for another year. The reindeer, those recovered, rested in their stalls, dreaming of stars and sleigh bells. Santa stood before the great tree in his private chamber. It was ancient, grown from enchanted pine, its branches heavy with ornaments from centuries past, a bell from the first sleigh, a feather from Cupid's wing, a shard of moonlight from the year the sky froze. He held a new ornament in his hand, a tiny silver spaceship etched with alien glyphs and a blinking light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Mrs. Claus entered quietly. "A new memory?" Santa nodded. "A new friend." He hung the ornament near the top, where it caught the glow of the hearth and shimmered like a promise. Far above Earth, Milpolo's ship drifted in orbit. Inside, the toy robot sat on the console, blinking softly, repeating its message every hour. "I love you." And on his homeworld, Milpolo began a new tradition, replicating joy, telling stories of a red-coated myth being who traveled with him across time and wonder. Children gathered to hear of rooftops and reindeer, of snow in Nairobi, of hugs in Paris, and of a single night when an alien learned what it meant to give. Christmas had gone interstellar, and somewhere in the quiet between stars, a chrome robot whispered love into the void, and the void whispered back, "The end. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you."